So here's the real question. How do dentists like you, who aren't willing to let insurance dictate how you will run your practice, who want to create incredibly profitable practices without sacrificing your time or sanity, how do you create the strategies to ensure your practice not only survives but thrives in the 21st century? That's the blaring question, and Dr. Steve Schalintz is here to provide the answers. Welcome to Dental Practice Freedom Radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Steve Schalintz, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Dental Practice Freedom Radio. And last episode, we were talking about Game of Thrones. I alluded to what this episode was going to be about. And this one's going to be about delegating and the art of delegating and what you should be looking for and how you should do it. And oh my gosh, there's so much on this topic, right? We hear this buzzword all the time. Delegate, 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 delegate. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I try to delegate, it gets more frustrating than if I try to do it myself. And that's part of the problem, because as dentists, we say, well, you know, I can't get somebody to do it as good as me, so I'm just going to do it. And then what happens is the stuff we're supposed to be delegating and offloading, we still end up trying to do ourselves because we formed a habitual pattern of trying to do it ourselves. I'll give you a great example. I've worked with, a lot of dentists, and we do talk about sales funnels and marketing, and one of the fancy tools right now is ClickFunnels, and we can design a sales funnel for you. And I'm just going to use this as an analogy, or as an example. Okay. One is that you do that funnel yourself. And dentists, as artistic as we are, we're probably not good at designing a sales funnel that actually converts. That's just not our thing. Some can do it, most cannot. And so when they make one, they look terrible. And not only do they not look terrible, they actually don't convert. So the whole point of a sales funnel is to convert. So that's one thing that happens. Or secondly, they delegate to a third party, whether they find this person as a freelancer, whether it's an agency, whatever the case may be. And then that person doesn't actually have the vision of what the dentist is trying to convey. And so that still fails. But now they spent money on it. And the question then becomes like, how do you be able to delegate but also still get something to sell or convert or to actually take more responsibility off your plate? And I have thought so long and hard about this, and I don't know if there's a clear answer. There is some trial and error involved. But you can't delegate by abdication. I do think that one of the most important skills that I've developed as a coach is knowing what my limitations are and understanding where my limits are, but also understanding every piece of the process in a high-end view, a big picture view. I'm reading a book right now. It's by Sam Walton. It was made in America. It's the book about Walmart. And I've been told that Jeff Bezos makes all of his managers and higher levels at Amazon read this book. And I figured, if it's good enough for Jeff Bezos, I should probably read it. And what was fascinating was written in very simple to understand language. And it was this story about how Walmart became Walmart. Now, Sam Walton basically said a couple things in there. He said that the role of his associates, his Walmart associates, were vital. He said everything that I learned, I pretty much copied from everybody else. We all learn that way. I mean, pretty much everything that I coach, I've learned from somebody else. So in many respects, I've copied it from them. And then I try to modify and make it my own a little bit in my unique situation. And so as I was going through this book, I was trying to figure out, okay, so Sam Walton was delegating, but how did he delegate? He delegated because he understood every aspect of his business. And then there were parts that he probably didn't need to do. He could have done, and he could have done remarkably well, but he knew if somebody could do it at 70 or 80% of his efficiency, he should probably delegate this. That doesn't mean when you delegate, you don't have any clue as to what's going on. He knew every part of his business. You need to do the same thing. Instead of worrying about, in my opinion, instead of worrying about how to get a sales funnel to work, how to get your website to work better, how to get more patients in the door, your teams to do better with their impressions, all that stuff. You have to start to say, okay, what are the big picture items here that we're trying to accomplish, and how does my business actually function? Right? What are the core essentials of my business, and then what are the sticking points of that business, the constraints of the business. There was a book called The Goal, and they talked about output constraints, basically. And so once you understand where those constraints are, then you can say, can I do this, and should I be doing this myself? And if the answer is no, then I know I need to offload this somehow, whether it's through a third party, independent contractor, Fiverr, you name it. And then you can go find the right piece, but now you have a much broader overview. And I still feel it's the responsibility of the dentist when they're communicating. One of the reasons delegation is so hard is because you don't actually even know what you're trying to delegate. You're just telling somebody, do something. Well, do what? I don't know, but just go do it. That never works. That never works. And in fact, it's one of the reasons that I like to use VAs from Fiverr, because it forces me, if this person is from Pakistan and is able to do it at a fifth of the cost of somebody from the US, there's certain things in my business that I need done at a fifth of the cost. I need to try to conserve cash as much as possible as I'm growing my consulting business or my coaching business. You can look the same way in your dental practice. It's exactly the same. You spend a lot of money on stuff you don't need to spend a lot of money on, you will run into problems. It's inevitable. It makes you smarter when you know, and it makes you more frugal when you know, okay, I know I need to do this, but I also need to be able to have a language that allows me to communicate with this person so they can do it. So the key with all of delegation, in my opinion, Michael Gerber talked about this in the email. You can't delegate by abdicating. And dentists are usually hit or miss. They're either one extreme or the other. They want to do everything and not delegate us anything. Or they say, I don't have any clue how to do that, so I'm just going to hire somebody to do that. I just want to go do my dentistry. Your dentistry is like 1/16 of your overall business. And if you keep telling yourself, all I want to do is the dentistry, I don't want to worry about anything else, go be an associate. Like, don't be a practice owner. Because if you're a practice owner, you have to take on the responsibility of the business. If you're an associate working for somebody else, yeah, you can do all the dentistry you want. It might be easier for you. But so if you're taking on the responsibility of practice ownership, you need to understand every aspect of your business. I guarantee you Jeff Bezos understands. He might not understand what everybody's doing at this point. And he might not understand, what button they have to push to do this accounting software or this, but he knows every aspect of his business. He knows what the profits are, what comes in, what comes out, what goes out, what are the departments, how do these things work together. Jeff Bezos is he is a systems-based thinker. Elon Musk is a systems-based thinker. Sam Walton was a systems-based thinker. So they understand all elements of their business and then how they play together. And then they can put the right people in place to do that certain role. And in order to do that, you actually have to understand how the big picture items fit. Don't start a marketing campaign with somebody that you don't know if you don't know how the marketing is going to pertain to the delivery of what it is you're trying to do. Those are your responsibilities. And then when you delegate, you know how those things are going to fit into the broader whole. So when that person starts to do things that are probably going to deviate from where you want to go, you can stop and say, no, that's not going to work because this has to work in context with this other thing over here. So your job as a dentist to be a really master at delegating, in my opinion, is you're never going to have a perfect system. Just get that out of your mind. And you're probably going to have to hire multiple people over the course of your career to do certain things in your business and your practice. And that's okay. That's part of the process. I've hired a lot of people in my coaching business, and some have worked really well and some don't work at all. And then I take that information, I say, how do I make this better? And then I try again. I don't really let the failure get to me. In your practice, it's exactly the same way. But the one thing you can control and be a better delegator, in my opinion, is start to think holistically about your practice. How are these elements working together? When I go to 15 CE events every year, and they're all from different people, and they all have different ideas of what kind of practice we're going to have and how we're going to run it, how are these things fitting into my vision of the practice? Right? Not enough dentists do that on a regular basis. They don't analyze the whole of their business. They are thinking about this thing and then that thing and then this thing and then that thing. Think of the whole, and then actually the delegation process will be a lot easier, because now you know where the inadequacies are, and now you can delegate certain things. And certain things you will not be able to delegate, right? You just can't. You can't delegate your ability to think about your business. I really don't think you can. Somebody might argue that you can, but that's not your business then. That's somebody else's idea of a business. So you need to be thinking about your business as a whole. And then when you do that, figure out the components that you shouldn't be doing, and then identify how you're going to find somebody to do those things, and then do it and learn from trial and error. Don't try to be perfect on your hiring and your delegating process, because that will never get you to do anything. And then once you kind of go through this process, think about your business holistically. Think about the things that are constraining your business. Think about the people that need to be in place to take care of those constraints, and then take action. You're going to move a lot faster. That's exactly how I've set up my coaching business, especially because it is, for me, it's kind of a one-man show right now. I delegate a lot to third parties. I don't want to have employees right now. I want to be very smart with how I'm spending my dollars. And I want to create the best possible client experience. And in order to do that, I need some help. And I know what my limitations are, and I'm continually learning about that. My practice is the same way. I do have employees in my dental practice, but it's an ever-evolving process. So don't feel bad if you delegate and you mess up, but also don't let that be the barrier to you delegating in the future, because that's the other end of the extreme you do not want to be in. Man, I can't get anybody to do this. I guess I got to do everything myself. If you're trying to do everything yourself as a dentist, you will have an $800,000 business on 4 days a week, and that'll be about it. You'll never get beyond that stage. You might do some high-end technical dentistry and maybe get to $1 million. But if you are relying only on your ability to do things in order to run your practice, it will not work. Okay? I'm not telling you need to have a huge practice with 55 associates and 8,000 team members. You can do it with one dentist and 3 team members if you really want to. And it's a lot simpler to do it that way. Just going to let you know that. But you still need to rely on those 3 team members then to do things that you should not be doing. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all your feedback, support. I got a brand new program that's launching for dentists. It's in the link is in the bio. It's called the Optimized Dentist. And basically in this program, we are taking our first members into the course. It is launching in, I think, 2 weeks. August 30th is the tentative launch date for this program. And it is all about personal mastery. Dental Sales Secrets is all about practice mastery. The Optimized Dentist is all about personal mastery, time management, sales skills, self-image, just all the things that you actually need to have in place in order to do anything in your practice that leaves a legacy. That's what we're going to cover in the Optimized Dentist. So really excited about that. That's been something I've been working on for a few months, and just feel confident enough to start talking about it. So if you're interested in that, please go look at the link in the bio, or the link in the bio. I'm not on Instagram. Look at the link in the description tab here on the podcast and see if it's fit for you. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you at the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Dental Practice Freedom Radio with Dr. Steve Schlintz. We'll see you on the next episode.